pitching technique, and I've got a little way that I train people that's a little bit different, but I think it'll help you sync up your arms, your hands, and your hips. And I remember watching Raymond Floyd years and years ago at the Masters, and many of you might not be familiar with his name. Anybody who's played a lot of golf knows who he is, but Raymond Floyd, I think, was one of the best little chippers and pitchers maybe the game has ever seen. And I remember watching him at the Masters, and he turned almost completely sideways. He hit a shot one time, and it looked like he was actually facing the target just like this, and he hit the shot. And it looked like his hands and his hips just all worked together. It looked like he just kind of did it all with his hips. So since then, I've kind of played around with that concept, and it seems to be a really good way to train people, even if you don't stand quite like he did. I think the idea of syncing up your arms, hands, and your hips on little chips and pitches is a perfect idea. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to grab your right elbow, and you're going to pull it in with your left arm. Now I'm right-handed, so this is for right-handed players. Switch it around for left-handed. I'm going to pull that right elbow in really almost as tight and as close as you can to your rib cage, and pull it in towards your belly button a little bit. You can see I'm turning it in. And then what I want you to do is you're just going to let your arm, your forearm, just kind of hang down. All right? And the movement is going to be similar to what you'll see in one of my other videos called the Teeter-Totter Drill. And the Teeter-Totter Drill is a drill where your heels move, and you kind of open your hips. It's left heel up, right heel up, left heel up, right heel up, and that's kind of the teeter-totter motion. So what you're going to see here without the club in hand is that the motion is not coming from the arms, right? It's not coming really much from the wrists. The predominant motion comes from the hip motion here, where I just kind of move my hips back and forth, left heel up, right heel up, and it feels like I open, or actually I guess close here and then open my hips here. Okay, so the motion is all hips. And now I'm going to add the club, and I'm going to try to break my right wrist backwards just a little bit. So when you put the club in your hand, your elbows and forearm is as far in front of you as it can be. Your right wrist is broken backwards, and then you're going to grip the club, kind of grip down on the club just a little bit. And this is a 60-degree sand wedge, so you can use, obviously, you can pitch with 9-iron pitching wedge, and you've got 3 or 4 different wedges you can pitch with. But let's start with the 60 so we can get kind of comfortable with a lob shot, a little pitch shot. Now I'm going to move it back and forth with my hips just like this, and you can see that doesn't look like much of a swing, and it's not. But if I let my right wrist get a little bit soft, and it breaks backwards and then unhinges, breaks backwards, unhinges as I'm rocking my hips. And again, I'm not pumping my arm. This is not an arm motion. Okay, it's hips and wrists. Okay, forearm is kind of just snug right in here. I'm just going to go back and forth with my hips. And now I'm going to let my wrists get soft. And you can see how this starts making a little tiny miniature swing. I'm going to hit a shot here. And you can kind of see the motion is mostly bringing it through with the hips and just letting the arm go along for the ride. Do the same thing here. See the right wrist nice and soft and relaxed. I'll turn this way and let you see how you kind of stick your seat out, tuck your right elbow in there, hold your elbow in close to your side so that it doesn't move, and then make the motion back and forth with your hips just like this. Okay, the reason why I have you pull this right elbow in and keep it really snug to your side is obviously so that you can get the feeling of rocking and propelling the arm and the club back and forth with your hips. But it also keeps the right elbow from getting behind you, and this is where most people fail in pitching. When they swing back, they pull their arms back, and you can see the right elbow gets back here behind me, and it gets in a position where I want to push with it, and that's terrible. That's where most of you hit all of your blade shots and your chunk shots for sure. All right, so try to avoid getting back here where the right elbow is out here where it can push. And you do that by keeping it in here where it can't push, and in fact it's more of what I call a pulling position. So your hips lead and the elbows in front, feel-wise, as well as the hands, leading the club into the ball rather than back here pushing the club into the ball. So that's a big no-no. So you want to make sure you don't get that elbow or the arms behind you. You need to feel like you keep them more here in front of you. Okay? So that's why I have you hold that elbow in and then just back and forth with the hips. When you watch me do this drill, I'm sure you can see I am rocking my hips back and forth, but you also see my shoulders moving back and forth. Now, the key to this drill is that you propel the club back and forth with your hips. Now, my shoulders are moving, but it's really as a result of me pivoting my hips back and forth. See, I'm not intentionally moving my shoulders back and forth. That's different. Now, there are some shots that we will use where we rock our shoulders, more of what I call the chipping technique, or in putting, you rock your shoulders and you stroke the club back and forth just like this. And in chipping, you rock your shoulders, and that's more of what I call a stroke method. And this is a little bit more of a pivot method where you have a mini swing. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're doing this drill. You're not trying to propel it with your shoulders, just like you're not trying to propel it with your arms. You're trying to propel the movement of the club by going back and forth with your hips. Okay, just wanted to make that clear. All right, now I'm just going to brush the mat, or brush the grass here, and like I said, let your wrists get kind of soft. You can feel it hinge, unhinge. Now, don't push at it with your wrists. There's no flipping, and this is what a lot of people do. And especially when you get your arms involved, a lot of people want to pull back and push with their arms and hands. And I think that's the downfall of almost anybody who's a good pitcher or a bad pitcher. It's a downfall, okay, because they're using their arms and their hands, and you just get it all messed up. So let's get that right elbow in, relax the right wrist, cause the swinging motion with the hips. I'll hit one forward here for you. You can kind of see the motion back and forth with the hips. Let the wrist get soft and just pitch underhand. Now, this would be for very short pitches, but what I want you to do when you start out, you're going to start off and then you put both hands on, okay? But you're going to try to get the exact same feeling like you're doing it all with your hips. And you just let the wrists and the hands and the club just swing along with you. Okay, so once you get the short version of this, you start lengthening it. I've got another pitching videotape that'll talk about three different lengths of swing that you can use. So that's a different one, but you're going to eventually try to keep this motion, and you're going to lengthen the swing, and you will let your arms start swinging along with the hips. But again, short pitch shots are going to be just like this, very short, and then you're going to have medium shots medium pitch shots where the club goes back a little bit further, and longer pitch shots where the club is almost at 3/4. So that's basically the technique. You use kind of the teeter-totter drill that we use, where again your left heel is rocking off the ground, your right heel is rocking off the ground. So that's similar to the teeter-totter, going back and forth. All right, and then it's a rotation of the hips. So you're just rotating your hip, right elbow's tucked in. You hinge and unhinge with your right wrist, and that's the simple little, and just brush the grass. There's no idea of trying to hit down on the ball or trying to hit up on the ball. It's kind of a brushing motion. You just feel like the wedge itself is just brushing. And obviously, if you do this correctly, you're going to arrive at the ball with your hands ahead of the shaft, which is ideal for hitting golf shots. All right, so just brush the grass and keep the wrists and the hands kind of soft and light, and propel the club back and forth with your hips. If you do this, I know you'll become a good pitcher.